American realism tends to be very white. It tends to be in areas where issues of identity and so on never ever come up. And so it ends up being ultimately, in some ways, the most false kind of fiction. I think you don't have to write polemics because those are also problematic. And I think it's usually bad art. But I think a writer can't ignore the world outside his window. And that in some ways that it does happen. I think it's to write a novel is to be political. I think to write,
unpack that a little bit. So how is it a political?
Meaning that I think you can, if you're looking at the world and making any sort of statement about the world, whether you like it or not, it's political. And I'm not quite sure what a writer who's not a political writer writes about. I mean, I don't go around saying, everything I write is politics. I mean, I just wrote a sci-fi novel.
Right.
Well, a fantasy novel.
And you set your work in a variety of historical periods even before this new book.
Hell, all of them have been historical in one way or another. But I think a novelist is also concerned with how people live with each other and how humans live with each other, how humans treat each other. And I think in that way, politics becomes something. Because if it's not, then the absence of it becomes a political statement. It's like when writers talk about they don't write about race in their books. I'm like, yeah, but then that's a statement about race in your book.
Right.
It's I don't think you can escape it. It's without becoming, again, a sort of polemical. It's if you're gonna write fiction that's part of the world and aware of the world, then you just end up being aware of politics, I think.